Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
You're rocking out there too, Chris.
I was loving it. You know what I mean?
First of all, apologies. My fault. We're late. I was all set up, ready to go, and Chris goes, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm here," but I was in the wrong. I mean, I've so many shows set up that no one can see yet because we have a nice little backlog going. But so I was sitting in the wrong one. So and then I had to reboot everything, and my microphone wouldn't work. So I could have been on, but I wouldn't been able to talk. Might have been a good thing, maybe. But let's start it off. So all good at you, Chris. First of all.
Good, mate. Yeah, fine, absolutely fine. Been looking forward to tonight because it's nice that we kind of just go with the viewers. You know what I mean? Like get some questions in that people want asking and or answering, should I say? And see what's on everyone's minds because we talk about Newcastle all the time, don't we? But there's maybe some viewer questions we don't always get to, so it's nice to just kind of answer the questions or hopefully try and answer the questions that some people want to know the answer to.
Exactly, Chris. And when we're not on here, we're on WhatsApp talking to each other or on Twitter. Yeah. So it's nearly 24/7. But look at we will get. You're probably just having a look at the questions as they're coming through. There, anyone has any questions? Get them in the chat. But I think we should start. Maybe we should try out something. Maybe we need a bit of a walk-on music for this announcement. But so let's start off with this. Okay, that's enough of that. But it's just to announce where we're going to start. The breaking news from this evening, Chris, you alerted me to it, that Krafth has got a new 1-year extension. So well done, Emil. So that's a nice little one for him. He's happy to stay in Newcastle. We're happy to have him. You wouldn't have thought that at the end of the Bruce era, but he really turned the corner there when Eddie came in and really showed his worth when Trippier was injured and stuff. So happy enough for that, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like you say, Daz, it was kind of a bit unexpected because I think, certainly during the Bruce era, we were all, well, I know me personally, I was looking at Manquillo. I thought Manquillo was going to really kick on. But since Eddie Howe's come in, he's got a tune out of Emil Krafth. And let's not forget as well, this is now a well-organised Newcastle United side. And, the players are being properly coached. There's proper tactics. And at times, I did feel a little bit for Emil Krafth because he was in and out of the team. He was playing right wing back. He was playing right centre back. When traditionally, as he does for Sweden, he's a right back. And with Eddie Howe, we are playing with 4 at the back. So he's found his position. He's comfortable in it. And obviously, this season, I think it's fair to say he's going to be a more than capable understudy for Kieran Trippier. So I think it's a good deal. It gives him another year. So I think his contract now runs out in 2024. So we've got him for the next 2 years. I mean, I was reasonably happy when the news broke.
Exactly, it's the same as me. He deserves it really, and I guess then I know Manquillo is injured at the moment, but it kind of does add another question because we did sit back and we talked about squad game. We said Krafth or Manquillo, and I think most were kind of said Krafth at the time, or I think that's who we were deciding between them. I can't remember at this stage, but maybe Manquillo will stay on with us as well, and then we'll be able to we'll have a big bench, so perhaps he'll get a shot as well if ever needs be, and he can double up on either flank, I guess, Manquillo. So that's one benefit of him. So, as I said earlier, get your questions in. Of course, the lads are out in Portugal at the moment, getting ready for their next friendly against Benfica. So that'll be an interesting one tomorrow evening. As far as I know, it's not possible to watch it anywhere yet, apart from the Benfica sites, but you need a subscription for that. So unless it's on some channel somewhere, we probably won't get to watch it yet. We'll leave it there. Something might happen yet. You never know. Yeah. Any questions in the moment, Chris? Because the idea here was going to be a rapid fire question, so we can rattle through them if they come in.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm going to start off with Paul Oxy's question. Paul brought in the first question. I thought it was a really good one. Well, I say the first. It's first in my order. There may have been other ones before it, but I think Paul's done a fantastic one. And this question is: marks out of 10 for the transfer window so far. Paul's going for a 6, and he thinks it'll be an 8 if we get a forward. Now, what are your thoughts on that, Daz?
I'd go with a 6 as well, because like we did start off and we all said at the start of the window what we need is a forward. So we haven't done that yet. Now we've strengthened the back line. That's the only place we've strengthened. But and we definitely look more solid at the back. So a 6 is a fair point. And if we got, I'll add to Paul Oxy's, if we got a forward, an 8, yeah. If we got a forward and that right winger or a winger that we're talking about, let's go a 10. I think you can't really do much more than. Actually, I'm going to reserve 10 if we get Paqueta and Tielemans on top of that. That's 11. That's 11 for me. Yeah. But that's asking for too much, I know. No, realistically, if we get a striker going to 7.5, I'll go if we get a striker, and I go higher if we get more on top of that. Your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Paul's right on the money there with a 6, because I don't think it's been a bad window. I think that would be harsh to say that. We've brought in Matty Target on a permanent deal. We've brought in Sven Botman, and we've brought in. Sorry, I'll wait for your pictures. Popey. Exactly. So I think those 3 additions are going to be a real big plus for us going into the new season. I think there's room for improvements. Like you, Daz, I think if we were to bring in a striker and a right winger, I think that would significantly improve the scores. I'm not going to lie, or even just a winger. Whether we move Maxi to the right, probably a discussion for later. Whether Ryan Fraser, gets predominantly put on the left and Maxi going on the right, who knows? But yeah, I think if we were to bring in a winger, a striker, and a centre midfielder, that would be a fantastic window. Who knows? We could be looking at another centre back. We've spoken about the fact that if you take out the right side of centre back, take out Fabian Schär, we look a little bit limited, which I think is fair to say. We're probably looking then at maybe Federico Fernandez or Jamal Lascelles. So it could be that we bring right side of centre back as well.
Yeah, but I suppose you could play, like Botman could play there in the right and have Byrne in there as well. But take one of those 3 out, then we're looking weaker, all right. But I can't see us signing another sort of, has to be a forward or a winger that we bring in next.
Oh, that's the priority.
Yeah, for sure. And just before you leave Paul there, I was just actually liking Paul's pictures. He's after getting the kits, and he doesn't have the noon patch. He doesn't like the noon patch on the white jersey. So they look good, Paul. Well impressed. While you're still looking for the questions, I have a question I thought of, and I was thinking about this during the day. Right? So we are we're first of all, we're linked to a whole load of right wingers. Now we seem to be linked to a whole load of left wingers. And all on top of that, there's also there's the talk of maybe if we go for a left winger, Maxi could be on the right. Then there's the talk of, hey, Richie, get well soon, Richie, and happy birthday to Caroline as well, Richie's wife. Okay, so maybe we're looking at playing Maxi on the right. Or then there's also the talk of Chelsea and Spurs looking to bid something like 40 million potentially for Maxi. Are we looking for a replacement for Maxi, or is it all just to bring in, if we can't get a right winger, bring in a left winger, and then you can have Maxi and that new left winger alternating at times. And any thoughts on that, Chris?
I can't see us getting rid of Maxi. I really can't. I think I'm not suggesting that he's unsellable, because I don't think he is. I think if a bid of 50 million north come in, I think we'd probably accept it, if I'm honest. I don't think 40 million's enough. purely because of the potential. I know there'll probably be people listening to this screaming, going 40 million, what we could get with that. And you're absolutely right, but I think Maxi's ceiling as to where he could go to is far higher than most players. Obviously the trick is to try and get the best out of him, which isn't the easiest thing to do, as we've seen. I mean, it's crazy to think, isn't it? Am I right in saying Saint-Maximin's been with us 3 years now? And you're starting to go, well, come on. You know, we've seen the potential. We've seen what you can do. Now it's time to start showing it. We've seen it in glimpses, but it's not enough over the course of a season. You know, you look back at last season, that fantastic game he had against Everton at St. James's, that was great. But, you know, when I look back over the whole season, it's probably like maybe 2 or 3 games where I've gone, wow. And maybe a couple of glimpses here and there, but that's just not enough. You know, you need to see that on a regular basis. I mean, you only have to look at the fact we paid 40 million for Bruno, and nearly all of Bruno's games were like wow moments where you're like, well, you know, he's running the midfield, he's progressing with the ball, he's making us tick. We just look a far better team with him. You see, with him in the teammate, we look a far better team, and that you know that's credit to him and credit to Eddie Howe for getting the best out of him. But we need to start seeing that from Saint-Maximin, because it can't, unfortunately, it can't continue the way it is. We can't keep carrying him. People will forgive him. I always revert back, whenever I talk about Saint-Maximin, I always revert back to Hassan Ben Arfa. People used to forgive him and make excuses for him because he'd bring that moment of magic that'd win you the football match, or, you know, he'd get you out of a tricky situation. He'd come up with an equaliser, an assist, or something like that. But that, even with Ben Arfa, it didn't happen enough. But with Saint-Maximin, it happens even less. And I think
recently it has. The second half of the season, nothing really sure about. That kind of links me to. I was going to ask this to someone we had in the show at one point, but it was like, and it kind of links back to Paul's original question: would it be classed as a bad transfer window if we didn't get someone better than Bruno? To get someone better than Bruno is a very difficult task, because he's been unbelievable. But maybe we'll save that if we have a guest again, and then we get closer to the end of the transfer window. Any other questions, Chris? In this rapid fire?
Yeah. So next one we've got, and well, it's not really a question, but we know what Mark's talking about here. So Mark Garfoot says, "Let's go, DCL and Pepe incoming." Now, I don't know whether there's a little bit of sarcasm in there, Mark. I'm not sure if there is. I do apologise. Obviously, these two players have been linked. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, there seems to be a strong suggestion that, you know, there's a good possibility that we'll be making moves for him at the end of towards the end of the window, and that's maybe when we'll pounce, because, as we all know, certain clubs need money. And it doesn't really make sense to, you know, try and do deals now with so long left in the window. What have we got? Nearly 5 weeks. So, you know, these kind of deals will run the course, and perhaps in the last week of the transfer window, that's when you'll see these deals happening. And Nicolas Pepe has been linked recently. I've seen people talking about a permanent deal. I've seen people talking about a loan deal. I've got to admit, Nicolas Pepe doesn't get me very excited, if I'm honest. However, you know, if you were to say we won't bring in a winger, or you can have Nicolas Pepe on loan, I'd be quite happy with that. I'd take that, you know, for the season. What about you, Daz? What are your thoughts on DCL and Pepe?
Well, first of all, DCL, you know, I've kind of said it a number of times. I don't want Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I just never took to him as a player. Like, never really rated him. I know he went through a decent spell at one stage, but he doesn't do enough for me. And then there's the injury thing. You know, just don't really want him. Okay, yeah, he's better than Chris Wood, but we should be aiming for someone on the same level as Wilson, if possible, if not higher again. But I don't think that's too difficult at this stage in our project. But someone that's close to Wilson, and I don't put him in that category. Like, I just even think about. Sometimes I think about. I mentioned the word fancy football. I'd never think of putting Dominic Calvert-Lewin in my fancy football team. Never in a million years. So why would I want him to turn up at Newcastle? So no, that's a no for me. And Pepe, first of all, I think we've been linked to so many Pepes, and all these names changing every 5 minutes. A couple of different. Every day on YouTube, I'm researching a new player, and I go, who's this Pepe now? But obviously, yeah, Pepe from Arsenal. I know who you are. But yeah, I'd take him if we got him for a decent price. Like they paid 72 million for him. He was doing great in France before he came to Arsenal. And I know we were heavily linked to him at the time, but then the price would have blown us out of the water in the Mike Ashley era. But I would take him if it was loan to buy or give him a chance. I think he could do okay. It just hasn't worked out for him at Arsenal, and I think Eddie could get a tune out of him. So yeah, I take Pepe ahead of DCL. If you had a choice between the two, you had to take one. Who would you take, Chris?
I'm gonna kind of duck out of this one. I would take Pepe because he would only be a loan deal. Like I'll be honest, I don't want us to spend north of 40 million on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I really don't. No, plus, I don't actually think it makes very much sense because, as I said to you, as I've been saying for months now, Daz, like for me, we only play with one striker now up top, and we have our wingers. You know, we could adopt the Liverpool Man City approach of previous years, you know, where like if you're struggling for strikers, you play one of the wingers in the central role. I don't think bringing in a top striker alongside Callum Wilson is going to be good for the team at this moment, because you can't play them both, because Eddie Howe's not going to play them both. Not by the way that I'm calling Dominic Calvert-Lewin a top striker, but what I mean is if you're paying 40, 50, 60 million for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's not coming here to sit on the bench. He's coming here to play. And then you're going to have Callum Wilson on the bench, who I believe personally is a better all-round striker than Dominic Calvert-Lewin anyway. I would much rather see us bring in like a Brozier. Even if, I mean, I've slightly contradicting what I've just said there, but I'm still really annoyed that we've not gone for Scamacca. Really.
Yeah, he's flying to London at the moment, isn't he, for West Ham?
Yeah. I'm really disappointed with that because, you know, he kind of ticks a lot of boxes for me. And as soon as I heard as well, it was between 30 and 35 million. You think, surely it's worth a go. But I will say, don't want to be negative. In Eddie Howe we trust. If we don't want him, then that's fine. You know what I mean? We move on. I'm sure there's other targets out there. It's not as if, you know, we've gone head to head with West Ham and West Ham have won, because by the looks of it, we haven't even gone for him. But I just thought, you know, from what I've seen of him and a little bit of research I've done on him, he certainly looks like a good player. So it'd be interesting if he does join West Ham to see what he's like next season.
Yeah, it will. I thought I had the same thought, just to see what it's like as well, because I haven't seen an awful lot of him. And I know you're doing a difficult task here of trying to read the questions, Chris, and talk at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not, mate. It's not.
What was I going to say as well is how would it go down in your house if Dominic Calvert-Lewin rocked up at Newcastle?
I don't think it would go down very well, because my lad, he supports Everton, and he it's funny. It's like a double-edged sword. Like, I think if we signed him, he'd probably laugh and go, because chances are it'd be north of 40 million. And he'd say, well, we're getting a really good price for them. But then on the other hand, I think if Dominic Calvert-Lewin hit the ground running and started banging goals in for us, I think he'd be quite upset, if I'm honest. I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not saying he's a bad striker. I'm not saying that if we signed him, I wouldn't give him a chance. Like, I think there is a player in there. Obviously, Gareth Southgate thinks there's a player in there, but I just think for that amount of money, for the money that you would pay for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think there's better options out there. Is all I'm saying. In games I've seen him play, he looked good, but I don't know.
Yeah, look, if he does rock up in Newcastle, I'll be giving him a chance. Well, obviously, but it's not. He's definitely not anywhere near my first pick. He'd be. God, I don't know if I'd ever pick him on my list, but yeah, and yeah, that's just my thoughts on that one.
We've had a question there from Geordie Toon for Life. Do you want to answer that one, Daz?
Yeah, when did Sean come back at you? Yeah, people are very upset when Sean. And I did try and explain it on Twitter, but you probably don't have enough characters to explain it. Yeah, so Sean was due on with us at 8:00 on Sunday. Then Sean's work timetable switched. He wanted to try and do it earlier, but that wasn't really going to work for us, because I don't think there might be one of us that might have been able to make it, but it definitely wouldn't have been more than that. So we've decided to push it to another day. Don't know what day yet. We've left that with Sean to see when it suits him, and when it suits him, and we have ourselves available, we'll go for it. So I've just I haven't deleted it. I've hidden it in the system, so you can't see it on YouTube. So it's just a matter of turning it back on when he's back on. So I don't have a date, but it's probably just as well, because not an awful lot happened over the weekend, because I do see that Sean is talking about now that where the right winger that we're potentially going for has not even been mentioned in the media. So yeah, I'd like to know who that is as well. So Sean, if you're listening, let us know. But yeah, when we get Sean back on again, we'll let you know.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Do you want me to go with another question, mate?
Go for it, Chris. Yeah.
Okay. So Andy Davis asks, what are your thoughts on that James Bond villain Draxler?
Here he is, Julian Draxler. Okay, yeah. I think he's a decent player. He will be 29 in September. That's when I was looking into a bit again today. Yeah, I think he could have had some injuries when he went to PSG. He's a German international. I think has he won the World Cup as well. But he's definitely won something with Germany, and he maybe the Euros. I can't remember when the stats was looking at, but he's a decent player. I don't know though. He's not in the right age group for me for how he's been looking at. Like he seems to be a left winger, and it's the age group. I don't think I can't see it happening. And the other thing is, when I was looking as well, I was trying to do a bit of research. I was wondering what kind of money he's on. So I think he got a new contract with PSG, but it seems to be from Google now that his wages did decrease, so it might put him in more in our ballpark. But I still can't see it happening. Your thoughts, Chris? You're on mute.
Great start. Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey,
I'm the same as you, mate. Like Draxler's one of those players, isn't he? It feels like he's been around for like 20 years. Like yeah. I remember talking about Draxler years and years and years and years ago. So we obviously broke on the scene really early. The fact you've said he's only 29, I think you said, didn't you?
It's gonna be 29 September, yeah.
Yeah, it's mad that, isn't it? Because you'd think he'd be a bit like mid-30s. You know, he's been man that much. But yeah. My only concern with players like Draxler is obviously he's a big name. From what I've heard, he's on between 60 and 65 grand a week, so he's not on mega money. I don't know how true that is, by the way.
Yeah, but when I was looking there, Chris, he was on something like 110, and then
that sounds more realistic.
Whatever they did with his contract. Now, this is just searching on Google, so it mightn't be accurate. Is that he seems to be on around 60 now or something like that. So that's why he fits into our kind of wage structure.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern with players like Draxler is like he's reached the top, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's played really high professional football both for his country and his club, and I just worry about players like that whether he would look at Newcastle and think, yeah, decent project, but like. It's kind of a step down for him, let's be honest. I know people won't want to hear that, but really it is. Where we are right now, it's not like he's got the rest of his career in front of him. I think it's very much like he's on the downwards turn, and I just think, I don't know. I don't know whether is he going to still have that fire in his belly? Is what I would question. That would be my concern. Whereas, the likes of Diaby, he's only young. He's very much part of the French team and everything, but he's only going to get bigger and better. Whereas with Draxler, is he? Let's say we've got aspirations of winning the Premier League in the next 5 to 10 years. Would Draxler even be part of that? Like he'll be gone by then. So I don't know. Me personally, I'd stay away from players like Draxler if I'm honest.
There's another thought I had as well. I was thinking about him today. Is that I don't know what his situation is now with regards to the German squad. Is he in it? Is he on the fringes of it or whatever? But he's probably looking for a move to try and make sure he's in that squad as well for the upcoming World Cup. So that might be a reason for him to be pushing for a move as well to get regular game time. Because I'm sure it's pretty difficult to break into that PSG squad. That's I can't see it happening. Really.
No, I don't. Do you know what? I'm sure we've been linked with him in the past as well, Daz. I think it's just one of those names. Like he gets. I think he's been linked with Arsenal. I think he's been linked with. I'm trying to think who else he was. He linked with Chelsea a couple of years ago as well. I think he's just one of those players who, like, is constantly linked. Now I know there's another player who I'm going to bring up, and I don't know if it's been brought up in the chat or not, but I know that apparently PSG are looking to loan out Gini Van Alden. Now he's also at PSG, and I know that he probably falls under a similar category to Draxler, but the exception that I'd make for Gini Van Alden is the fact that I think, with him previously being at Newcastle, and having played in the Premier League, I think he would kind of see it as like, I don't necessarily think he'd see it as a step down, albeit I know he's coming from PSG, but he knows what Newcastle's like, and he knows where we could go. So I suppose with Gini Van Alden, I'd be quite happy to bring him in. But I think with Draxler, I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't sit right with me. I just don't think he would have the hunger and the desire as, say, someone like Genie would. And plus, it's maybe taking time to hit the ground running as well.
Yeah, I imagine like they do with all the players, but especially in the new project now, they do their background check on their character check really on them. But just you mentioned Genie, I think Genie is unless it's something else has changed. But what I was reading was that he might be going to Roma, and it's supposed to link up then with Jose Mourinho to see how that goes. But I think Genie Wijnaldum, now that we've Bruno in there, I think I don't know. I'd go with someone younger, really, rather than Genie. A good stopgap for a season and some on the loan, makes sense. But we were shouting for him in January transfer window. But I think now maybe we'll look at maybe younger options again. But yeah. Do you want to go to the next one? Yeah, let's go for the next one.
Okay, interesting one from Yano. So Yano asks, what formation do you think we will adopt this season? Given our two strikers thrive on different types of service, passes versus crosses, what recruits do we need to be adaptable to both? Great question. Daz, do you want to kick that one off?
I reckon we're going to go with the same formation we had since Eddie Howe came in. He'll stick with that. We never played to Chris Wood's strengths really, and Chris Wood wasn't great either. But he did hold the ball up, and he did a job. So I'm not saying about, but striker, I had the running joke with Martin. Will he ever score for us? He did score 2, I think. And then again, like Trippier was missing as well for when Wood came in, and I was expecting more crosses in the box for Wood to get his head on it. Like that goal he did score was from a Shelby cross, kind of looping ball over. That was a decent goal. But what kind of players should we bring into? It's wingers. I think a winger and another striker. Wilson as number 1 striker. I can't see us getting someone better than Wilson this as I said a few minutes ago. But I think someone on the par with Wilson, or just maybe younger, and Wilson is happy to kind of come on when needed, because we know Wilson's going to get injured at some point. And the winger. So what they're focused on, I think, trust what Eddie Howe is trying to do, and Dan Ashworth as well in the background.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree, Daz. I think, like you, I think it's a really interesting question from Yano. I think we will continue to play the same way. I think it'll be 4-3-3, with that interchange in both forward line and also midfield. So what I think will be interesting is whether or not, if Callum Wilson's out, for example, if we were to bring in a winger who could play as the striker, whether we stick Maxi in the middle, or I don't know. But I think for me, that would be interesting going forward. In terms of Chris Wood, I totally take Yano's point. Like, we do look a different team when Chris Wood's in the starting 11 as opposed to Callum Wilson. I mean, we saw the difference on Callum Wilson's comeback game. It just looked like, oh my God, we've got a striker all of a sudden. And that's no offense to Chris Wood. I think Chris Wood did a good job. And you can't be putting in bad performances going on a 9-game unbeaten run. You know what I mean? And he's not the kind of striker in an Eddie Howe team at present that is going to get you 10-15 goals a season. Unfortunately, if we played a different way, perhaps we could. You know what I mean? Like I said at the very start, when Chris was getting a lot of stick during his first 3 games of his career, which was a bit weird. Yeah, like he was getting pelters, mate, like literally 3 games in, and I was thinking he's come from a Burnley side who play 4-4-2 and are constantly getting balls
Yeah.
whipped in the box. You know, you got Aaron Lennon on one side, Dwight McNeil on the other, and their job is to get hold of the ball and get the ball in the box for Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood. And then he's come to a Newcastle team who the instruction is very much play with the ball, be comfortable on the ball, find those little pockets, get the ball fizzed in. And that's not Chris Wood's game. So that I felt a bit sorry for him in that sense. Whether or not Eddie Howe decides to mix it up, I don't know. Whether or not we see, you probably won't, but whether or not we see Chris Wood's partnering Callum Wilson up front next season, who knows?
We've never seen that though. Sure, we haven't.
No,
We've never seen both. Have we ever even seen both of them on the pitch at the same time? I can't remember it anyway if it's happened. But yeah, no. I guess as well that's where the thoughts about getting an attacking winger in as well. That's someone that could potentially get that goal maybe off a Chris Wood knockdown. That's something that we need if we have to have Chris Wood playing and Wilson out. But let's hope we do get the other striker option, and we don't have to worry about that then. Yeah,
no, definitely. We've had a super sticker from Sefton Mag. Sefton Mag, thank you very much.
Cheers,
also known as
Mag.
Russ. Yeah, thank you
Cheers,
very much,
Russ.
mate. Yeah,
thank
Russ. Funnily enough, Sefton Mag reached out to me. Sefton Mag is based about 10 minutes down the road from me. So yeah, I've joined a WhatsApp group with Russ and a few friends, and do you know what? It's been great. I've really enjoyed it, and we're already, Daz. We're already planning an away trip to Wolves. So really looking forward to
nice
that.
though.
Yeah. So it's nice. It's Newcastle fans are everywhere, but I must be honest. I thought there was probably like a handful of Newcastle fans in Merseyside. Maybe that's me being naive. I don't know, but I've joined a group now with a good number of fellow mags, so very, very nice, and just goes to show what this kind of platform provides you. You can meet new people, you can be introduced to new people, and it's really nice. But Russ, listen, many thanks for the super sticker, many thanks to everyone who donates or contributes to the channel. It is really, really appreciated, and it helps us keep improving our content as we go along. So thank you very much for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And while you're on that topic as well, yeah, and anyone that hasn't subscribed yet or is watching us for the first time, where have you been? But yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button as we try and march towards 5K. It is our goal to try and get there by the end of the transfer window. That's our goal, to be there before or on transfer deadline day. And also, if you're watching this as well or even playback, hit that like button and just kind of pushes us up the ratings. I know, kind of different kind of show for us today. We said we'd throw out a kind of a question and answers kind of show, and with us, a few of us being either out sick or on holidays or this, that, and the other. So we said we'll keep the show on the road. Ooh, I see this question coming in. Memphis to pay.
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the figure that's being talked about is around 17 million. I see a lot of people saying, no, he's one of these, he's not as bad as Lingard, showboating, but or just kind of, he did okay at Man United. He didn't really hit the ground running. He went to France, and after that, and then now he's in Barca.
Yeah, I think he went. Did he go to Leon? Am I right in saying it was Leon?
Yeah.
I think it was Leon. Yeah, and then he ended up at Barcelona. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Daz. I think I don't know. I do wonder sometimes, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but I do wonder sometimes. Like when we're getting linked with players like Memphis Depay, and I think, like we'd be quite lucky to have Memphis Depay. I've got to be honest. Like he's a good player. He's a really good player. Obviously, if you compare him to some of the names who've been linked with, you might go, "Oh no, I'm not keen on him." But 17 million? Is that much of a risk? Really?
Yeah. And look, and if we did bring him in, I trust the judgment that Eddie Howe and Dan Ashford would have, that they've done their kind of background check on him, that his head is in the game, and he'd do a job for us. So it's one I'd consider. I can't. What age is he? I don't think it'll happen, to tell you the truth.
No, I think he's late 20s, Daz. I think.
Yeah.
anyone in the chat correct us, but I think he's about 28. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. He could be another Draxler who's been here.
He's 28. You're right.
He's
28, and yeah, he scored 63 goals for Leon in 139 appearances. He scored 12 for Barca in 28 games.
That's not bad record.
That's not a bad return at all. No,
not at all. No.
So no, definitely someone I'd look at it. But again, what kind of wages though? What kind of wages would you be looking for?
This is it. Yeah,
that is one thing that could rule us out of him altogether. While you're looking for the next question, Chris, I'm going to throw something at you. Get your opinion, because it was something we kind of chatted about in. Do I have pictures of both guys? Oh, look, I don't think I have pictures of both. But here, I want to compare or give your opinion of, would you take Anthony Gordon or Harvey Barnes, who I don't have a picture of now, but who would you take? I like both. I know Pete is all day long Harvey Barnes, and when I saw actually when I saw both of them playing the first couple of games, I liked both of them when they broke onto the scene. So I'd be happy with either. I know some people absolutely hate Anthony Gordon. I think I think that's because he's playing for Everton, and two, the diving instance when they were trying to survive, and that seemed to be a tactic that Frank Lampard played against Liverpool in that game. But so I'd be happy with either of them rocking up. But Anthony Gordon, I know there's talk of a deal a new deal making him one of the highest paid players at Everton. And Harvey Barnes, the Leicester want to cash in. There's talk about a 50 million. Both kind of be a high fee involved if you got either of them. But if you could take either, Chris, who would you take?
It'd have to be Harvey Barnes. I really rate Harvey Barnes. I think he's another player as I look at, and I think he's got a far higher ceiling. My biggest concern around Anthony Gordon, albeit the twice that I watched him in detail last season, obviously when Everton played Newcastle, I thought Harvey Barnes was their best player. Harvey Barnes. I thought Anthony Gordon was their best player on both occasions.
He was.
And obviously I've probably watched more of Everton than most people watching this, because obviously I don't have much of a choice. But I think he looks a really good player, Anthony Gordon. But again, we're talking about a young local lad who's based on the scene, and he's been here a season. Do you know what I mean? And I think to myself, the pressure wasn't there last season because he was very much considered the youngster, new kid on the block. This season, number 10 shirt. And I think a lot of Everton fans who were looking at Richarlison and now looking at Anthony Gordon and thinking, right, we need performances out of you. We need you to step it up. And I just wonder whether he's going to. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I don't know. But we've seen all the hype around Tom Davis. He went down the Swanee. We've seen the hype around Matty Longstaff. Didn't happen. So if he performs again this season like he did last season, maybe we'll start to really sit up and take note of Anthony Gordon. But I think I don't know. For me, I'd pick Harvey Barnes every day. Every time I see Harvey Barnes, he looks a prospect. I think he's a player who's got a high ceiling. He could go anywhere. I know Gareth Southgate's a big fan of his, and I just think my only concern around Harvey Barnes is probably the price, because I can't see Leicester letting him go for probably less than 50 million. So it's whether or not we want to spend that much money, but he certainly looks a really good player. But interestingly, Daz, he is predominantly a left winger. So again, it would raise the question, we're not going to sign Harvey Barnes to play on the right, I wouldn't have thought. So what happened to Maxi?
Yeah, did I hear someone that he can play in both, and then it was like the mixing with the Maxi as well. But I don't know. I think I'll be on my own saying that I'd rather take both of them. But I think a lot of people would go for Harvey Barnes over Anthony Gordon. But any more questions from the chat?
Yeah, we got loads. we'll have to fly through these. We've got loads.
Chris here.
I know, and I'm still trying to catch up with the chat as well, because when I click on a star, I come back and then the chat goes messy. So apologies to anyone if I missed your comments. Emma Griffin, that's a really interesting question. Guys, if you could only have one player back for Newcastle, not Shearer, who would you pick? And it can be any position. Really good question.
Yeah, I think I answered this question before a long time,
Oh, have you?
potentially in another show, and it's yeah, obviously you can't pick Shearer, so I picked Peter Beardsley. Peter Beardsley was always
Ah,
my favorite player for Newcastle. Yeah, and of course he played for Everton and Liverpool as well. But yeah, no, he just the link up play, and he was there in the Andy Cole years, the link up with Andy Cole, and then the link up with Shearer, and it's just I know we kind of play it differently now, and football, but that kind of number 10 role, he was always kind of just the through ball in, and just the old Peter Beardsley shuffle. So for me, Peter Beardsley, I'd love to see a player like him back.
yeah. Well, mine's quite easy. I've got to pick my all-time favorite player. So Ben Arthur. I just love Ben Arthur. Honestly, mate, if we sign Ben Arthur, you thought I was going to say Andy Carroll, and didn't you? You were waiting.
No,
for
no,
that.
I knew you were going to say Ben Affleck because
Oh, did you? Yeah,
I remember you answering this question before as well. Yeah,
yeah. No, it'd have to be Ben Arthur. It was. Again, he's just like he's. I don't know. He's like a finished product of Maxi. Like I just remember watching him, and like he'd always have you on the edge of your seat. He could pick the ball up outside your own 12-yard box, and I used to think he could take the whole team on here. And
I have seen him.
We saw him
I've
do it against Bolton.
I know, yeah. No, I loved him as well. To tell you the truth, I couldn't. I know it was the whole Pardew era, and why did he get rid of him? And then, of course, he ends up at Hull with Bruce, and Bruce couldn't get a tune out of him at all. And then he ended up going back to France. But yeah, he always had the whole mercurial French thing about him that he's falling out with people. So yeah, I don't know. I liked him, but I just you couldn't always depend on him either. I guess you can, and that's the kind of player he is. Like he's in that kind of category of. Can't always depend on. But yeah.
Next one, Daz. Next one. Okay, we've got David Cook says, could Diaby want to avoid disruption to his World Cup chances and come in January instead? Which is an interesting question from David. What do you think, Daz?
It's an interesting question. I if he doesn't come to us this summer, he has a good World Cup. It'd be very difficult for us to get him. He'll go to a Champions League club unless we're in those positions leading into that's it. I can't, and as well as that, I think his club now is that they're trying to get in, try and get in the top two as well, or they will be fighting that out. That'll be their target for this season. So I think if it doesn't happen this summer, and what I've heard before as well, it's not happening, it's not easily happening in next summer if he has a good World Cup. And January, I don't think so. I think he'll stay where he is. And teams are reluctant to let their players go in January, especially if they're doing anyway as well at all.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, mate. I mean, I don't see why we can't go back in for him. And I think I posed this question the other day actually, Daz, because we were saying, weren't we, that obviously Botman, we went for Botman in January, it didn't happen. We waited till the summer and we got him. So there's no reason. I mean, that being the case, Daz, do you think that's why perhaps we're being a bit more prudent with the wingers? Is that why we haven't already brought in a winger? Are we looking to do a loan deal to basically last us for the season, and then maybe in January or the summer we go back to Leverkusen and go, right, should we get this deal done now then? Or do you think that's maybe why things have gone a bit quiet of late?
No, I'm just any day now. I'm just expecting it to go blow up and go mental, and we sign like 2 or 3 players, not all in the one day, but in rapid succession. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Like we've all been, that's what we're all hoping for. That's why we all watch the transfer shows. That's why we do the transfer shows. That's why everyone's tweeting and following tweets all day, every day. But I don't know. I don't think if we don't get him this summer, I really can't see him coming in January. And then depending on how he gets on in the World Cup, whether we'll be back in for him, maybe it all falls apart for him as well. Maybe he should have maybe kicking himself. Why didn't I move when I had the chance? So yeah, for me.
Do you know what? I've just been going through the comments. Then Yano, I was all over it, mate. All over it. It was funny because whenever I hear that song now, whether I'm out, whether I hear anyone else singing it, whether I see it on a video, I always just think that's offloaded back.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not allowed. Well, there'll be 2 people on this channel that will kick up if we bring a zebra back in. One's on
Do you know what we'll have
holiday,
to do, Daz?
one's
We'll have
not
to
here
load it
tonight.
on. Not tell anyone, just load it on. And then whenever Pete and Martin aren't on, I think Rich is fine with it. I think Rich can live with it. Whenever
Rich can
Pete
live
and
with the
Martin
zebra.
aren't on, we'll just keep playing it.
No, I think no, it's gone. The zebra is gone. We've moved on past that now. We have other things, I'm sure, that will crop up through the season.
We can get some new stuff, can't we?
But
Get some new stuff.
the zebra was all based on, of course, Project Zebra, so it linked into that. That's all. I think it's those days are gone. They're all behind us. There's all
Yeah.
they're filed. They're there. If anyone ever wants to watch them back.
Yeah. We'll encourage people to go back and have a look. Right. So, Paul Oxley, good question. Put this question to you. Would you take Harvey Barnes for Saint-Maximin?
Again, a swap deal. They're talking about the same price. We did say we were going to give. I said I was going to give ASM till the January to see does he improve? Can he be more consistent? Would I take him? I'd rather both see what happens. I don't know. I see. I'm kind of reluctant to give away Maxi, not give away, but to swap him out or to sell him. And I just wanted to give him another chance, one more chance. But I'll say yes for consistency. Yes, but I'd like to see them both playing for us on the same pitch.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's a fair answer, Daz, because like I couldn't imagine ever not wanting Saint-Maximin in the team, if I'm honest. Although he does frustrate the hell out of me. I do really like Harvey Barnes, so yeah, I think with Harvey Barnes, you probably get a good 7 out of 10 most games. With Maxi, sometimes you get a 9 of a 10, other times you get a 5 or a 6. Whereas with Harvey Barnes, I think he's more steady. I think he's more, albeit he's probably not as flamboyant or as unpredictable. But at times, maybe that's not always what you want.
Yeah, so I guess Harvey Barnes would be younger as well. That'd be another thing that come into it. If you're going really into the we have to make a decision right here, right now. Yeah. So yeah, we take him.
Yeah. Okay. And the next one is
that'd be a good question for Pete, actually, because
yeah, we'll have to ask him that.
He loves Harvey Barnes. He also loves ASM. So that is one for Pete. Keep that again.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is from Carl Thompson, good friends of the channel. Carl. Hope you're well, Carl. Who starts first for us, Pope or Dubravka?
Yeah, I answered this. I just tried to be awkward the first time everyone said Pope, and I just said Dubravka for the crack. But Dubravka did, and Pete mentioned it as well. He does seem to not want to put any foot wrong. It's kind of focused him as well. I think it'll probably be Pope, to be honest with you. But I think it's done no harm to Dubravka. The next the few friendlies now as well, the more serious friendlies, Benfica and Atalanta and whoever else we're playing. Can't remember. Can't see it.
Sorry, Daz. Oh, hang on.
Atletico Bilbao.
Atletico Bilbao, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be telling, but I think it'll probably be Pope. And Carl, it definitely won't be Darlow. So sorry, Max.
No, it's definitely not going to be Darlow. But yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll be Pope. I'd be very surprised if it was Dubravka. Okay, so we have our good friend Sefton Mag, who was on earlier. Evening Loaded and chat. Question: Miggy as central striker, J7 moved position under Howe. Why not try up front?
Miggy up front as a.
I think Miggy has played up front at times, hasn't he? Not. I don't think he started up front, but he's ended up again part of that
everywhere.
I'm sure he's played through the middle on occasion.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be strong enough to play up front, and his accuracy isn't always great. And I know in our matchday lives in the past, I've criticized him that he does all the running and then he gets to shoot, and he's like the Duracell bunny. He's run out of energy, and he's shot his tame. Even though he's done really well in the preseason games, he's like ahead on goals and probably assists as well. But he's done really well. I can't see him in that position though. No, not in the Premier League. Number 10, that's what we always say, Miggy in number 10, but we don't really play in that kind of way anymore. But can't see it. Myself.
No, I agree. I mean, Miggy. In fact, I seen a stat the other day, and it adds up because obviously, we've seen it from pre-season. But Miggy's actually been the most productive out of all the players so far this season and pre-season. He's been banging the goals in. Hopefully, he's been being coached by Eddie and the lads, to try and get his confidence up. I do think with Miggy, a lot of it is confidence. I mean, I appreciate the MLS was a lower standard of football, but at times I always felt like Miggy lacked confidence, and we saw, in that Crystal Palace game, he's got the ability, he can do it. But I found with that goal, it was very instinctive. He didn't think about it. He just, took the man on, got past the man, ran past him, took a touch, bang, and it buried it. So I think Miggy's got the potential to be better. I wouldn't necessarily see him as a number 9 through the middle. But again, if he was part of a fluid front three and we could see that, the defenders were tiring or whatever, I mean, Miggy's probably the best person to be running, a tired set of defenders. He just doesn't stop, does he? So yeah, I don't think he will, but
neither do I. And I don't think Roberto Roja, who we had on there a couple of he never mentioned him in the kind of a number 9 position either. So can't see that. But I guess linked into that, and it would be if we don't sign that winger that we've been talking about, we just start Fraser or Miggy. If you had to choose between the two, with Miggy, like Fraser has more delivery, but Miggy's been really, as you said, done really, really well in pre-season. Ideally, we'll have neither because we'll have a new player in, and but
yeah, I think
interesting.
It is. It's a very interesting question. I think if Maxi starts on the left, I think Miggy will start on the right. I think if Maxi starts on the right, Fraser will start on the left. That's my answer to that one, Daz. But unless, of course, as we say, we bring in this new right winger, which ideally we will. But who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows? What's around the corner?
No, just to let Gary know. No, Pete hasn't pinched me Avon rounds.
It's Martin who's pinching.
I still can't believe this is still going. I mean, this was going since day one, isn't it? And
no, it wasn't day one. It was like about 3 or 4 shows in, and Martin just made a stupid comment, and that's where it took off from there.
Yeah. I should make a stand against it. If we're taking the zebra down, we should take Avon down. Even though I know you all love Avon, but yeah. No, Gary. Pete is on holiday with his family in Turkey, and I think he's with Lee as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's with Lee. Yeah.
And we're giving away a prize. You can win the prize of a holiday with Pete and Lee by the pool, nestled in between the two of them. You can talk in football all day long. And also, no, I got to stop there. I'll stop. Next question, Chris.
Next question. Okay, so Dunil asks, do you think we will have more new faces in before Forest?
I think Forest will have more new faces in because every day they're bringing in someone else.
Yeah, they are. They're making loads of new signings. Yeah.
I was just thinking, wasn't it Fulham that brought in a whole new team after they got promoted, and then they went straight down. I think it was Fulham, at that time. They brought in a whole new squad of players, really, and it just all fell apart from them. They didn't gel. And I'm hoping that the first game of the season, anyway, against Forest, that happens and they don't gel. But do I think we'll bring in more new faces? I suppose that's only in less than 2 weeks now. I think we will bring in one before then. And then we'll bring in at least one more before deadline day. So I'm expecting 2 more. I don't know who, but I'm just guessing. But so yeah. Hey, Donald, by the way.
Yeah. What I'm going to do, Daz, I'm going to fly through these questions so that we get through them all, and then I can finish the chat because I'm conscious I keep flipping between the two and then the chatting cases. So we're going to fly through these questions. So, do I think we'll have more faces in before Forest? Yeah, like you, Daz, I think there will be at least one before Forest, which is 13 days away. So it's not long. Not long. Oh no, it's not 13 days at all, is it? No, it's I can't count
Rapid
off the
fire.
top of the head.
Rapid
I
fire.
can't. I know rapid fire. Yeah. Do you know what? Let's just go with 12 days. I think it's 12 days. Let's just say that. Okay. Right. Chris UK Essex says, "Evening lads. Thoughts on an improbable idea I had the other day. What do you think the chances of PIF buying out the entire Red Bull company with all clubs to FF or feeder clubs?"
Wow, that's an impressive idea.
That would be good.
Send that to
Yeah,
Yasser
yeah,
Almayer.
yeah, so yeah.
Tweet
Imagine.
him about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure Piff have a mailbox so you could get that idea too.
yeah.
Why
So
not? Anything's possible. But yeah,
imagine we had loads of feeder clubs. It was like 6 or 7 feeder clubs. That'd be all right.
but you know, I wouldn't. I don't want it all in one go either. I like the kind of gradual build up. Buy
Build.
one here, build, and then build it by
Yeah.
another one, and then we send a few other lads off on loan, and they come back and they're superstars, and they're that way. That buy it all one go. No, it's boring. It's like cheating Football Manager or FIFA or something like that. No,
Yeah.
we want to do things right.
I go with that.
Suffer.
Right. Ray Burrer asks, Elliot Anderson, has he impressed enough to get his chance? For me, he looks like our future. Exciting prospect. Would you agree with that, Daz?
He's done really well actually in the preseason games. Interesting to see how he gets on in the upcoming ones as well. And I think Eddie Howe says I think it all depends on who we bring in. If we bring in some players, I think he'll go out on loan because he's not going to get game time. If we don't bring in players, he'll stay with Newcastle and for this season and get some game time. So he'll be coming off the bench. So yeah, but he has impressed definitely. Whatever happens, he needs to be playing football next season. He can't be sitting on the bench all season long. He needs to get some game time, even if it's a case that we keep him till January and then send him out on loan. Whatever happens throughout the season, he needs game time and keep progressing.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I absolutely agree. I think the new 5 sub rule this season could play a part. That could be one of the reasons we keep hold of him. Another reason could be, I think he doesn't need to be named in the 25-man squad. So again, that's a bonus. But you're absolutely right. If we go and sign, a multi-million-pound winger, and then we've got Fraser, Maxi, Miggy, Murphy, this new winger, Elliot Anderson's options are probably going to be limited. If we don't bring in a winger, but we get rid of, say, I don't know, Matt Ritchie, Jacob Murphy, whatever, then maybe Elliot Anderson, could have a place within the squad. Last thing, like you said, is for me, I don't want to see him getting 5 or 6 minutes every 4 or 5 games. That's no good.
Exactly. What happened then, Chris, is he'll end up like in the situation where Matty Longstaff is that he sat in the season and he never played any football. And look at it, it's affected him. And because I know there's talk of him going out on loan again, and that'll probably be the end of his Newcastle career then, because I can't see him signing another contract with us again. He'll want football, so yeah, definitely Elliot Anderson needs to be playing.
Yeah. On that subject, just to kind of add on to what we've just said, if ASM, so if Maxi doesn't perform, will or should Hal Benjamin give another player a chance like Anderson? Do you think there's a possibility of that, Daz, if Anderson does hang around? Do you think it could be that Eddie Howe goes, do you know what, pull Maxi, put Elliot Anderson in? Do you think there's a possibility that could happen?
There's definitely a possibility if he's carries on where he's it's not working out for him and he's sitting down on the pitch complaining that someone rubbed him the wrong way at the in a tackle a couple of minutes earlier, and whip him off and bring someone like Elliot Anderson on and let him run and give him a shot. Why not? But we'll give SM the benefit of the doubt. We want to see the best from him, and we also want to see the best of Elliot Anderson. So why not, Simon? Bring him on if needs be, and if it improves our chances of winning the game.
Why not? No, I agree, Mark. Daz, I completely agree. Geordie Toon for life. Do you think Bruno gets injured? Do you think if Bruno gets injured, our midfield will not be strong enough? Hence, we need Paqueta. What are your thoughts on that, Daz?
think Bruno and Lucas Paqueta playing in totally different positions. So if Bruno gets injured, we are in a spot of bother because no one can replace Bruno. Okay, we have Sean Longstaff as a backup option there in midfield, and we have Shelby, but it's none of them are ever going to be Bruno. So yeah, we're in a bit of trouble if Bruno gets injured, but you're not going to have a ready-made replacement for him. Is that why we need? Do you think? Hence, we need Paqueta, but for just that bromance that they have going, Bruno and Lucas Paqueta, and just to see that magic in Newcastle shirt. I know he's not a priority for us, but I'd love to see him coming to Newcastle. Just to see the old Brazilian and link up with J7 as well. It'd be a dream.
Yeah, it was. I hope we get Paqueta, although I have a feeling we won't. I think he may be one for the future, or maybe he'll go elsewhere. But yeah, I don't think we'll bring Paqueta in. That's just a good.
Interesting that Arsenal, or Edu is saying that Arsenal aren't interested in him now, or that not at this point in time. But if and there was the talk of the price dropping for Paqueta, but yeah. I'm hoping that might be something a surprise towards the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, who knows? It could be a deal, couldn't it? Could be that we've got an offer on the table and Leon have gone, we're not interested. And maybe, as we were saying earlier on in the show, the closest to the end of the window, they know he wants to leave. Maybe they will consider a lower offer for him. Who knows? Jamie W. Story asks, what about Jonathan David? I know he's another one Pete's a fan of.
Yeah, I think I talked about him before. I did watch a game when he was playing. I think it was I was looking at Botman at the time, and yeah, he didn't do much. I think he was doing his best work before I started keeping an eye on Lille. But so yeah, I don't know an awful lot about him. I know he's a Canadian international. I think he's going to the World Cup. I think Canada in the World Cup, and I think so. But yeah, if he's on our list and we rate him, why not bring him in? But I don't know an awful lot about him really.
Yeah, like you, Daz. I know he played with Sven Botman, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, I don't watch him week in, week out, is what I'm saying. Certainly a prospect, but apparently a lot of money to prize him away. And again, goes back to what I was saying before. I can't see us spending 50, 60, 70 million for the striker to compete with Callum Wilson. I just don't. I think Callum Wilson will get the full season. And if we bring in a youngster to try and challenge him and come on, that would be better than bringing in a 50, 60, 70 million pound striker that you have to play. And then potentially you've got Callum Wilson sitting on the bench. I just don't think it works.
And if you're going down that road of like the 70 million striker, then I'd be looking towards Victor Osimhen or someone like that, But yeah, look, it's pipe dreams. I don't think we're going to be spending that kind of money this transfer window.
No, I'm going to ask this one anyway. I know we've just kind of answered it, but John Burbeck says, hi, good show as always. Thanks very much, John. For the striker, what about Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan?
See the lad from Inter. Yeah, Inter. Heard good things about him. I heard him linked to an awful lot of clubs. Would he come to us? Probably not. Of course we take him, but would he come to us is the question. I guess then it kind of throws into the other Italian striker who's without a club, is Balletti, and there's talk of us being linked to him as well, or a few more clubs being linked to him. But yeah, what do you think, Chris?
It kind of falls under the Jonathan David bracket, doesn't it? I think, again, a lot of money. And maybe with this one, as you say, Daz, maybe a little bit more unlikely to sign for us. I'm sure there'll be a lot of big clubs in for him. Don't know. But talented lads, beast of a footballer, like very strong, not slow. Good finisher. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it if we went and signed Lautaro Martinez. I'd be delighted. But yeah, I just don't see it personally, John. If I'm honest. John Gandy asks, thoughts lads on Tielemans. Think he's looking for his next move. Now we've spoke about Tielemans a fair bit, haven't we, Daz?
We have.
He's gone a little bit quiet over the past couple of weeks, and we've heard recently, haven't we, that we've made inquiries with Leicester, but is it other players we're looking at from Leicester as opposed to Tielemans, or is it Tielemans himself? Who knows?
Yeah, and I know Pete put up Twitter that he asking about a whole lot of Leicester players at the time, but yeah, I would absolutely love Tielemans. And the day before the transfer window, sorry, for the takeover, when we kind of knew that it was going to be happening. I think everyone had an idea at that stage, but yeah, that I played the clip before. I asked Ben Jacobs, name your price for him, but so yeah, I would love to see him rocking up at Newcastle. I think he'd complement Bruno as well. And he is looking for a move. His contract is running out, and I think what Pete was saying as well from his Leicester friends that they're looking to offload him so they get something for him. And that's why he's kind of been flirting around Arsenal for a while, and then it's will Arsenal make a move, and now they're strengthened in positions that he would play in. So again, he's another one I'd love to see rock up before transfer deadline day. But he's probably looking for a Champions League club. We're not that yet,
Probably.
so. But I'd still love it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Tielemans. It's funny because Tielemans kind of feels like the missing jigsaw piece for me because he very much falls under the Christian Eriksen bracket. As in somebody who could play that right side of midfield. I know at the moment, we've got John Joe Holden and then we've got Bruno, but perhaps if you brought in Tielemans, it just offers that freeway, interchangeable system that we could do. And I think Tielemans would be fantastic. I've seen him firsthand at the King Power. Where I mean, don't get me wrong, like second half we just collapsed anyway. But Tielemans was just pulling the strings. He was just absolutely fantastic. Really, really good player. I was surprised Leicester got him in the first place, to be honest, because I think they got him from Monaco. But he was a young prospect then when he signed on loan, and then obviously they made it a permanent deal. But he would be fantastic if we could get Youri Tielemans in. But I suppose we'll just have to wait and see, Daz.
Yeah, and unless he'd sign another contract with Leicester, but I don't think so.
I think he wants to move on, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he wants to move. So just don't want us to be linked to someone again, and then someone else swoops in at the last minute and takes him off his job. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so Dom Addy asks thoughts on Trossard, lads. So Leandro Trossard from Brighton does.
You like him, Chris. I know you like it, and you because you've mentioned before, and I think you've also had him in your fantasy football. Yeah, and you've had him in your fantasy football team at times as well, if I recall. Yeah. But I don't know, he doesn't score enough goals for me. And I know I think he can play on the left a bit as well as being striker. But I suppose Dan Ashford would know all about him from Brighton, but not for me really. No. He'd be well down the pecking order. I think he's young enough as well, I think.
Mid-20s, 25, 26, I reckon.
Still
That's
not.
my guess, Daz. That's my guess. 25, 26.
I'll check it out. Would you take him, Chris?
Yeah, I'd take him. I think he'd be a good player. Like you say, Daz, to be 27, Gus. No, like you say, I think he's probably a player who's maybe on the list, but he wouldn't be high up the list, if I'm honest. Like you, I think he probably could do with scoring more goals. But as Maxi said himself, and what we all know, when you're playing with better players around you, there's a better chance of scoring more goals. So that's taking nothing away from Brighton, by the way. But I do think. In fact, I'm going to touch on that, Daz. This isn't one of the questions, but we've saw through the week that Neil Maupay was linked.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there.
I know. Who was the Italian side? Salatina, is it?
I don't know. Was it something like 7 to 10 million or something like that? Was the figures
15 million?
Oh, okay.
15 again. It goes back to that, doesn't it? To what does 15 million get you these days? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't think that's a big price, if I'm honest.
No, it's not for that in that position, the pitch really. But again, it's that's fine. Okay, bring it in like the Trossard or Neil Maupay. It's fine if you're splashing the cash on a big name somewhere else. Then I'm happy to offset that. Bringing in one massive name player for a decent fee, and then going for someone else on a cheaper free or a loan, I'm happy to go that way. But if it's two £15 million players, okay, shouldn't be judging a player on the value either that we're paying for them, because we might get a good deal or the contract or so on and so forth, or so it could be an unknown. But I'm expecting more from us than that. I'm expecting we have more in the kitty. Like we were splashing the cash on Eki Teki, so it is there, and they weren't stopping after that either. They were going again, so there's money there to spend. It's just let's get the right players in.
Yeah. I think with Neil Maupay, do you know what? He's it's going to sound really odd. He strikes me as a cross between like Craig Bellamy and Callum Wilson. As in, he's kind of, that last man player. He's always badgering the defences. He's always moaning. He's always whinging. He's always crying for everything. But sometimes it's good to have a player like that in your team. Yeah. Like, I think he fell out with his team a little bit, actually, towards was it the middle of last season or the start of last season? And he got dropped, for disciplinary issues. But I always think with players like him, he's one of those players where when he plays for someone else, you'd hate him. But when he plays for your team, you love him. And if you look at his goal scoring records, again, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think he's got a pretty decent return for Brighton. And if you're getting someone of his, his quality, who's £15 million here or there, for a Premier League proven striker who scores goals in a lower Premier League club, I don't know. I don't think it'd be the worst deal in the world. I really don't.
No, then I suppose you take into fact if he's falling out with players and he's a bit of that going on, will he fit into the whole Eddie Howe ethos? But as you're saying, maybe you need someone like that as well. Like I used to love Craig Bellamy back in the day.
Yeah,
I did. So
yeah. Okay, so we've got two more, Daz. I mean, there's probably a few more in the chat, but yeah, we've got two more at the minute, and that would be Dom Addy again. If you were to predict our next signing, who would it be? So between now and Forest, that's what we're saying, Daz, because we've both said we feel like there's going to be one in. Who would you say? Gut feeling. Well, obviously, don't quote us on this, but gut feeling. Who do you think it'll be?
Okay, so you're looking at we're predominantly linked to left wingers, right wingers at the moment. So you would think it would be a winger, right? So that's why I'm just going to get the picture. Why I'm going to say. I
can't wait to see who this is.
Screw that. I think we're going to get Lucas Paqueta.
Ooh.
Just left field, gone under that's what we're expecting, kind of a winger to come in. I just think I don't know. I just wanted to happen so much that's why I'm going to go there.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, Daz. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because we've all waited a little bit of time now for the new signing. So the last one through the door was Pope, wasn't it?
Yes.
So it's one of those, isn't it? We all saw how quickly those Pope rumours escalated. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, Newcastle want Pope. Next day, there was pictures of Pope outside Newcastle's training grounds, outside the stadium. Then it was like Nick Pope announced. So you do wonder, don't you, when or if it'll happen this week, where all of a sudden we'll just be linked with someone, and then bam, the deal will get done. I do feel like this week, if not this week, definitely next week, someone's going to come in. And if you're going to push me who that was, I kind of don't want to say a player who we've already been linked with, because I have a feeling it won't be.
Ooh, someone new.
Yeah, someone who we're just not expecting, or maybe someone who we were linked with ages ago and his name just reappears. Who can I say? I'm going to come back to that. I don't know.
Okay.
I've just got a feeling. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's going to be one that we've been linked with recently. Unless.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I was going to say maybe it could be something like Jack Harrison, whose name
I was just about to say Jack Harrison. Yeah.
Because there's talk of us going back in for another bid there again, and potentially that could be accepted, but that really kind of screws leads up. Or maybe Benjamin Sissoko that we talked about, the young lad there, as well, something like that. This could be anyone.
There's loads, isn't it? Yeah.
Interesting if it surprises, but yeah, I'm going to stick with Lucas Paqueta.
I will come back to that, Tom. I will say it before the end of the show. I will say it. And then Harry Horsham asks, Werner is the one. He was amazing in Germany. Eddie would get the best from him. What do you think on Timo Werner, Daz?
Definitely. Pete and myself, and I think in another one of these Q&A sessions we had at the end of one show, I think a guest had to leave early, so we just did a Q&A on the fly, and his name came up, and I'd love him to rock up. I think Eddie would get the best out of him. There's one you could add to your list, Chris, of who you'd like to see come through the door next. But yeah, with Chelsea bringing in players, that this has to be players going out as well. So could be a possibility. And I think if we do get him, I don't want to just get him on a loan. I want to get him on a loan with the option to buy. That if he does hit the ground running with us, that we can buy him for an agreed fee. We're not just going to send him back to Chelsea. But yeah, I'd like to see him rock up.
Who has the best breath on the panel?
Well, as considering I've never met anyone on our panel, any of the lads, and I hope I won't be able to answer that in 2 weeks' time when I do meet at least 3 of the lads.
Yeah. I mean, I've met Pete and Rich. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I mean, you could say because of me vape, maybe me. I don't know, but I don't want to. I don't want to toot my own horn. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. If any of you see us, we're all 4 of us. No, I've got to be careful how I say this. Though 4 of us are going to St James's for the Forest game. I'm still waiting for my ticket, but I'm going to St James's regardless. Even if I can't get in, I'll be probably there in Shearer's Bar having a bevy. But the 4 of us will be there. So yeah, I wasn't going to suggest people come over and ask us, but maybe we can get back to you. I don't know. Life goals. I don't know. We'll have a think about it.
Keep those questions going.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, it's a Q&A, Daz. We said we'd answer already. So, you know. It belongs to my Emmett. Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I have this mug, as you've probably all seen, saying the boss. I'm actually made up with this because the wife got at me on Father's Day. I mean, I'm not the boss. It's an absolute lie. But she likes to make me feel like I am the boss. But I don't think I am. So I've got me mug and I'm proud. Really? Yeah, it's a piss take. Yeah, it's basically like, you know, yeah, if you believe that, what an idiot you are. That was a dumbed down version, by the way. But yeah, so apparently I'm the boss. Yeah, we'll see. God. Oh, we are. Life goals. Any truth that Cornet 17.5 million would leave a cool 40 million on one marquee signing such as DCL?
Oh God! I was if
it's this DCL.
The first half of the sentence, yeah, it's the first half of the sentence. Life goals. I'd go for if we bring in Cornet to bring in a £40 million Lucas Paqueta, then maybe I'd go with that suggestion, but not. It was downhill when you said Dan McCarroll doing. Yeah, 40 million.
Cornet's an interesting one, though, isn't he? I mean, again, we're talking about low prices.
For that price, yeah.
Million.
Yeah.
Why not?
I have a picture of him here. Yes, I do. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, be an interesting option. Again, it wouldn't have never been top of my list, but if it means we're getting splashing the cash somewhere else, so be it.
Yeah. Big shout out there, Daz, to Martin.
Hey, Martin.
Martin's back in Newcastle, which we'd love to see. Unfortunately, he's not going for football reasons, is he? But
no.
Big massive shout out to Martin. I hope he won't mind me saying this, but I hope his mum's doing well. We're all thinking of him and his mum, obviously. So can't wait to have you back on, Mart. And hope all is well with you, mate.
If anyone sees Martin who is in Newcastle, give him a big hug.
Yes. And hey, smell his breath. Why not? Why not? While you're there. Just don't try and kiss him. I don't think he'd like that. Yeah, just don't kiss him. I don't think he'd be into that. Life goals. What have you done?
Where's the show going now?
Yeah. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions as I quickly fizz through this chat.
Is that a comment on Pete and Lee on their holidays? Well, go back to that one there about gym sessions.
I was just no.
Oh, right, okay. No, I thought that's where he was going.
I did actually, yeah. Pete and Lee, I'm sure they will be in the gym in Turkey. I'm sure they will be.
Good. I hope they're enjoying this.
See what I mean? Smelly armpits. 7:41 a.m.
Cut life goals off. No more questions from life goals. while you're looking for the last one or two questions, Chris, I'm going to do the sponsors, right? How about that? And we'll round off.
Go for it, mate. I will. Yeah, I'll quickly whiz through these while you're doing the sponsors, but I'll make sure I don't get in the way of the pictures if I can.
Yeah, sure, no problem. It's easy to know. We just kind of made this up as we going along.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Shy Barnes, and we saw Simon in the chat earlier. He had a question in there with us, and of course, shybarnes.com. Burns, as people like to say, I pronounce it, but I'm going to do that soon. I'll have to brush up on my lingo. But yeah, Simon has a range of hats, t-shirts, hoodies, you name it. Go check it out on the website. Lots of good stuff, and the portion of everything that's sold on Shy Burns goes towards mental health. Also on there, you'll find the Loaded t-shirt in various different colors. And also there's a water bottle, and there's 2 different types of mugs as well, which a number of people that follow the show have purchased. And 50% of the profits here go towards the NUFC Foundation. So it's all going to a good cause as well. Shout out as well to Pins and Prints and Dean, and he's a range that he's available of pins and prints, and I'm sure there's new ones just around the corner with the season kicks back on with the new kit and so on and so forth. Shout out also to Retro NUFC, and I love seeing people wearing the bucket hats. I love the bucket hats. Yeah. I know he does a whole load of jerseys, and he's in different markets at different places, and the range is always changing. But I just love those bucket hats. And also shout out to Marty and to Machine House and the range that the lads have available there, and lovely t-shirts, hoodies, and more t-shirts. Everyone loves this collection, and he has a new collection coming in August, I think, as well. But check that out. What's available on the Machine House website. So that's it for the sponsors. We just maybe tell you as well, we will have more shows coming this week. We don't know what days we are low in numbers, so we were kind of making it up as we go along, but we hope to run a fully loaded transfer show this week, so we'll just have to arrange a day and time to before we put it out, because I don't like putting things out and then it needs to change or cancel or stuff like that. So try and make it as accurate for you as possible. And there's a lot of shows coming up then the week after, and some that you haven't seen advertised yet. Some I've put up for the week I'm off and in Newcastle and other places, but there's some that will appear that I just need to press the button to turn them on that in the lead up to the start of the season. So that's it from the messages from me. What's Martin saying?
Martin's going to kick off, and because he's got to get someone coming up to him going, "Let's smell your breath, Martin."
I'm not going to say I hope that happens.
No.
Any more questions, Chris, before we round off tonight?
Yeah, we have. We've got a couple of questions. Everyone in the chat, I am very sorry if I didn't get to all of your comments. Tell you what, let me just ask you this question while you're talking. I'll see if I can finish them off, because I hate missing people out. Okay, so Chantel says, which was one player we didn't discuss. Hi lads, what do you think about us going for Belotti? He's free, so could be a good try.
Yes. Belotti, who I called Belletti earlier. I think he's on a free transfer. He'd be a good option. I think he's around 28. I'm not 100% sure that. And he comes from Torino. Why not? Would he come to us? What kind of wages would he need coming on a free transfer as well? And he's not getting something like $200,000 a week, I hope that's not what he's looking for, like Lingard. Interesting option. Wilson's still our main striker there for me. He's going to have to bench time as well. He's going to have to prove himself. If he's willing to do that, then come on board. And his background checks check out that he's good team player and stuff. But yeah, your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I think Andrea Belotti, he's he's a player that we've been linked with actually for a number of years, isn't he? Obviously, he's stayed at Torino for a very long time. I think he's a good player. Like you guys, I feel like the wages would be a little bit of a concern. I think he'll want big wages. And again, going back to what I said before, I know I sound like a broken record. Can we afford to bring in someone like Belotti and then say to Callum Wilson, "Oh, you're on the bench," or say to Belotti
Yeah.
himself, "You'll be on the bench, mate. You'll come on as and when." This is the concern. This is the problem Eddie Howe's got, but it's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to have. We've moved on a lot. Over the past how long's it been since the takeover? Now it's approaching a year, isn't it?
Since
In October.
October, yeah.
Yeah, in October it'll be a year. So it's a nice problem to have. We've got competition within the squad now. We can certainly move forward, and it's all positive, Daz, is what I'm saying. But no, I don't think Belotti will come. I think he'd be a good player, and if we signed him, I'd be made up. But no, I don't see us going for Belotti. Geordie Toon for life. Just to pop in there, he said that Pete confirmed Tielemans' house is up for sale in Leicester.
Yeah,
So
I thought I saw something like that before as well. Yeah. So yeah, look at he's on the move somewhere.
he's on the move.
Hopefully he comes to us. Actually, there's something I meant to mention as well. And Alan Mathis sent me this, tagged us in that area. It said there's some changes at St. James's Park as well. I think it's up in the away section. There's some rail seating gone in. Sure, people would have seen that today or spotted. And also he pointed out there's some family decor gone in as well in some place around St. James's Park too. So yeah, just flash those pictures up. And thanks, Alan, for bringing that to our attention as well. Cheers, Alan. Was there one more thing I was going to say? Yeah, I know Martin mentioned it the other night as well on the Fully Loaded Transfer Show with Pete and Graham Bailey. But as well as us being on Spotify, we're also now on iTunes as well. So if you ever want to listen back to this chat that we're having, and you're on mute. But yeah,
why not?
Those options are available to you. That's it, Chris, for me. Anthony, that's what you finish on.
Couple of things. So Ian Acho was another name that got mentioned again from Leicester. Leicester looking to raise funds. I mean, what would you think on Ian Acho, Daz? Didn't quite happen at City for them.
I think I answered this on Twitter. I think Pete put him up, or someone put him up as an option from the Leicester. I thought my answer there was I thought he'd do more after he left City. At City, he was doing really well, but he's like coming on for the last 10 minutes, and he might grab a goal, but in a class side. I thought he'd do more at Leicester. He hasn't done. Then they went off and bought that the other guy. I can't remember, Paca or something like that. The Leicester guy that they felt the need to buy another striker. Dusan Paca. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And yes, I don't think so. No. He's would maybe if he sits on the bench and no, I wouldn't even take him there. Then not for me. You, Chris?
Yeah. Similar to you, Daz. I can't see him joining us to sit on the bench. I think he'd be a good fee. I think Leicester signed him for 25 million. He's probably on best part of 100 grand a week. I think there's better out there, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so do I. I don't really care if he's concerned about coming to us and have to sit in the bench. I don't really want him. I don't think he's he just hasn't proven himself since he went to Leicester.
Yeah, no, that's it, isn't it? I think. Oh, so Neil Carvett says Belotti not on massive wages, 50 grand a week reportedly. Yeah, I mean the wages are lower, aren't they, abroad? So yeah, at least he wouldn't break the bank, Neil. But
it's a free transfer, you know. There'll be some. He'll want a decent wage. But yeah, well, yeah, he's an option for us. We'd be interested to see where he does end up if it's in the Premier League. Yeah, that's the van. Cheers, Chris.
Two more comments. The last one isn't really football related, but never mind. We've got I forgot what my username is, who says, what would you guys say about making Kingsley Coman our marquee signing? Now, can I just say, if we got Kingsley Coman, I'd be very excited. Very excited.
He's from Bayern Munich. Yeah, no, he's class. I don't know what age he is now. He burst onto the scene. He can't be that long ago.
He's surprisingly young, you know. I think
Yeah,
he's
he is.
again. I'm going to throw it out there. I think he's 24, 25. Kingsley Coman,
Okay,
23,
now
24 even.
Google as well.
I'm going to say between 23 and 25. That's my guess. He's won a silly amount of league titles wherever he's been. He's always ended up in a squad where he's won league titles.
He is 26.
26. That's a 23, 25. Yeah, but again, he's a name that's been out there for ages. You know what I mean? Like he's.
Yeah. Is he getting game time with them now? Let me just check this season.
I'm not sure if he is. You know.
Yeah.
Who else have they got on the wings? They've got Gnabry, Sané.
Yeah, I can't see him coming to us. It's probably a bit. He's on the transfer market. He's 54 million is the price tag on him there. So
right,
and he's kind of a right winger, can play on the left as well.
Yeah, he plays both.
Yeah, and let me see games. There's how many games? No, I don't think he's come to us. And
be nice.
His name doesn't be me. Yeah, it would be nice. Maybe down the future, but there'll probably be younger, more upcoming players at that stage when we're in the market for that kind of a player.
Yeah. And then last comment, and it's from one of our own, Martin Nesbitt, at Toon Polls, loaded best breath, it's happening.
I'm not on that show.
No. I might give that one a miss myself. But yeah, Martin, great idea. But yeah, that is all the questions, and we managed to get through all the comments. So we've done well done
because it's not as difficult. The idea, if there was three of us on, it would have been a bit easier on the comments. But yeah, Seamus Coleman, no, we're not getting Seamus. I used to love Seamus Coleman at one stage, but a number of years ago, I thought it was unreal. It was even linked to Barcelona at some. Thanks, Martin. Thanks.
Martin's back, and he's not on the show.
I've never met him. Yeah. The first thing I'll do is breathe at him when I do meet him now for that comment. But that's it for tonight. Thanks everyone for listening to us ramble on, talk crap for an hour and a half. But we'll be back during the week with something sometime, someplace with some of us.
Keep saying squad games too, don't we, Daz? I'd love to do squad games. Maybe when we get a signing, maybe.
Yeah, because there is a show on that, because like we've 30 players now, we've got to get whittle it down to 25, and then with signings coming in on top of that, we need to make more space. But that is it for tonight. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we leave it there.
Yeah, that's it. He's obviously on the ale with life goals.
Good luck, everyone. Thanks for watching.
See ya. Ciao,
Good
guys.
night.